So happiness is a mental or emotional state of well-being.
That sensation of contentment and fulfillment.
Our happiness is in our ability to aim for the highest outcome, however unattainable that may be.
It's easy to take freedom for granted, but it was hard won by generations before. The revolutions of history sought to guarantee this right to liberty.
Around the world, regardless of skin color or gender, there's a clear trend. Free people are happy people.
Economists have considered happiness in the context of the Easterlin paradox, which is made up of 3 parts. The first one is that in a society, the richer levels are happier than the poorer people. But overall, rich countries are not happier than poor societies, or not by much. The third part of the paradox is that as countries get richer, their happiness levels do not increase. And the conclusion of that theory is that only relative wealth in a society matters when considering happiness.
Endorphins are a chemical that your body releases in response to certain stimuli, such as pain or certain smells, food, exercise, or other factors. It's a natural response to stressors such as that. And the endorphins respond to this call by falling into place in your opioid receptors, which then gives you this really happy feeling.
Happiness is always in relation to how a situation measures up to the expectations we set for ourselves. As such, happiness can be found in the absence of expectations.
Happiness.
Felicidad.
Alegría.
Content.
Freudestrahlend.
Mabsuta.
In some languages, there is a great variety of words for being happy. Many of them have much more words than in English. But does that affect the people? Are people who have more words for describing their happiness happier?
When you take a look at the UN World Happiness Report, you see that USA is at 13th place, ahead of all the other countries we looked at. Germany takes 16th place, followed directly by Brazil in 17th. Chile and France are way behind with 24th and 32nd place. So maybe the language doesn't have any influence on the country's overall average happiness.
In general, happy employees are more productive than unhappy employees. According to the source, Growth Everywhere, employee happiness increases business success by 20%.
Perhaps this is because, as Growth Everywhere reported, happy employees are 12% more productive.
Or because happy salespeople produce 37% greater sales.
Western consumerism inclines us to say that more income leads to happier lives. That is only somewhat true. Studies have shown that it takes a significant increase in income and assets for people to lead significantly happier lives. Even those at the top of the income spectrum sometimes lead unhappy lives due to things such as workload and stress.
Both Paraguay and Denmark top the charts for the happiest countries on Earth, but there's a key difference in what is actually considered happiness. How could this be possible? Surprisingly, when looking at 2 different surveys, the Gallup Report and the World Happiness Report, we found 2 very different results. To find out why this difference exists, you have to look deeper at how the 2 surveys measure happiness. The Gallup Report measures happiness using the Positive Experience Index, which asks people if they've had many positive emotions the previous day. So the Gallup surveys how happy are people living, while the World Happiness Report measures happiness considering economics, psychology, survey analysis, national statistics, health, public policy, and more. Basically, it measures how people see their life going.
Is happiness and depression truly opposite of each other? Many people, it seems, think that being happy is the opposite of being depressed. But is this really the case? It's certain that they are 2 different things, but opposites maybe not quite.
Firstly, it is important to define what happiness is. It seems simple, but we achieve it in so many ways because everyone is different. However, we tend to find it when completing personal goals, being generous, helping others, etc. And when we do these acts, we tend to feel satisfied and good about ourselves. There's this feeling of completeness with oneself. You feel whole and fulfilled. Therefore, in some sense, the opposite of happiness would seem to be emptiness or apathy.